of Harrow's Edge, a weary Kethar veteran with too many scars to care about myths, squinted at the console. "This code," he whispered, "it doesn't match any Concord encryption." His junior officer tilted her head. "What then? A rogue fleet? Pirates?" The commander frowned. "No, this is older, much older." The word spread like wildfire. Soon, archivists were pulled from their dust-filled chambers, and signal experts replayed the pattern endlessly. Finally, one scholar, a Dranthi historian who had wasted her career chasing forbidden archives, spoke the words no one dared. "This," she said, voice trembling, "is Terran code." The chamber erupted in laughter. Terran code, from humans, the very idea was madness. Hadn't they all agreed the humans were myths? But then the second signal arrived, stronger, sharper, impossible to ignore. And it was coming closer. When ghosts cast shadows, the Conquered convened a crisis council. In a chamber of polished crystal and starlight, senators from 47 species gathered. Their voices clashed in waves of arrogance. "Fabrication," roared the Threx delegate. "Some dissident fools are stirring myth to rattle us." "Perhaps pirates wearing old skins," hissed the Sulraki matriarch, "pretending at ghosts to scare children." "They're just echoes," declared Admiral Kayor, his talons clicking against the marble. "No vessel could fly under our detection nets. Not anymore." The chamber agreed, laughter again, arrogance again. But in the corner, silent, the Dranthi historian stood and whispered, "Ghosts do not cast shadows unless they are real." Because that was the impossible truth. The second signal had not only carried code, it carried mass. Sensors recorded a gravity wake, subtle, almost impossible to detect. Something immense was moving through space, concealed so perfectly it left no radiation signature. Only its shadow upon gravity itself betrayed its path. No pirate fleet could have done that. No conquered vessel could either. The laughter in the council chamber began to sound hollow. The silence before the revelation. When the fleet finally came into view, there was no dramatic flash, no thunder of weapons, no sudden rupture of space-time. It was silence. Ships slid from the void like ink spilling into water, vast, angular forms that seemed carved from night itself. They bore no insignia, no conquered design. Their hulls were matte black, absorbing the starlight rather than reflecting it, as if reality itself bent to keep them hidden. The conquered defense array at Harrow's Edge stuttered and went blind. Their scanners screamed false readings, as though the universe could not decide whether the newcomers existed at all. "Identify yourselves," demanded the sector admiral, broadcasting on every channel. "You are in restricted conquered space." No reply. "Identify yourselves immediately." Still nothing. It was as if the void itself had arrived to answer them. Then, one by one, the alien commanders fell silent, not because the vessels had fired weapons, but because every officer, every historian, every archivist recognized the impossible. The hull geometry matched the forbidden drawings in ancient texts. The formations mirrored the strategies described in half-forgotten war epics. Even the silence carried a weight, an echo of the myths once mocked. The Terran fleet had returned, and the galaxy, once so quick to laugh, now could not breathe. When Nonexistent became real, the first voice to cut through the silence came not from the conquered, but from the ships themselves. A transmission, calm, unhurried, in a language that had not been heard aloud in 1,000 years. "This is Terran command. You will stand down." It was not shouted. It was not wrapped in threats or arrogance. It was delivered like inevitability. Conquered admirals scrambled. Some screamed for their fleets to form defense lines. Others ordered attacks, though their targeting systems refused to lock on. Every weapon's sight blurred, every computer misfired, as though the ships ahead existed only half in reality. Then the Terran vessels moved. Not with speed that could be measured, with precision that could not be believed. One moment they hovered silent. The next, they were inside conquered formations, cutting through without firing a shot. Enemy cruisers found themselves paralyzed, power grids offline, weapons disabled by pulses of invisible force. The Terrans had not come to fight. They had come to remind the galaxy of a truth it had buried. And the conquered learned, in terror, that myths carried more weight than any fleet. The day the galaxy fell silent. In the aftermath, reports spread like wildfire. Warships paralyzed in seconds. Entire defense grids turned to glass. Commanders who had mocked the idea of non-existent vessels now refused to speak at all. Across the Senate floors, the word passed from trembling lips to trembling ears. Humans. Not extinct. Not imagined. Not forgotten. Real. Every academy that had laughed at their memory rewrote its curriculum overnight. Every senator who had dismissed them ordered silence. Every admiral who once mocked their ghost fleets now whispered a single command to their crews. Do not provoke them. Because in one night, the galaxy had been reminded of a truth more terrifying than any war. The humans had never been non-existent. They had simply been waiting. And when their vessels arrived, everyone fell silent. The council chamber echoed with laughter. Not the kind of laughter born from joy, but the sharp-edged ridicule of those who believed themselves unchallenged. The Horathi, towering insectoid diplomats, clicked their mandibles in amusement as a recording was played on the chamber's central dais. It was a passage from an ancient archive, one pulled from dust-covered memory banks predating even the first recorded star empires. Beware the Terrans, the voice warned, metallic and warped with age. Their fleets are storms. Their soldiers are shadows. When they rise, silence follows. The delegates sneered. The Terrans, scoffed Admiral Jaren of the Zal Dominion, his 6 eyes gleaming with amusement, are nothing more than fractured folklore, a war people invented by primitives to frighten children. Storms, shadows, silence, all words, nothing more. From the Ral coalition came mocking chirps, their speaker clicking her beak in feigned terror. Ooh, the ghosts of Earth will come for us in our sleep. Shall we lock our doors against myths? The laughter grew until even the youngest aides joined in. For centuries, the name of humanity, Terrans, Earthborn, the Forgotten, had been dismissed as fantasy. No records placed them in the galactic census. No known ruins marked their worlds. No active transmissions bore their code. They were absent, therefore they were non-existent. And in the arrogance of empires, myths were nothing but toys to mock in council halls. Whispers in the dark. The first sign came quietly. A faint ping across the Corvin listening array at the rim of occupied space. It was no different at first from the thousands of signals that cluttered the galactic ether. Stray pulsar emissions, gravitational lensing echoes, the faint groans of stars dying light years away. But the signal repeated, 3 tones, a pause, 3 tones again. An automated beacon, said Technician Lurash, squinting at his screen. Probably junk code from a derelict. Yet when they cross-referenced it against the archives, unease crept into the room. The pattern was old, so old it predated the council itself. And it was human. The record keepers scoffed when presented with the data. Coincidence, they said. The archives are full of corrupted fragments. Do not mistake ghosts of data for real transmissions. But the ping continued, relentless, patient, drawing closer with each passing cycle. The whisper spread across monitoring stations, then through the patrol fleets. A ghost signal, a myth's echo. Some joked nervously, others dismissed it outright. But in the hearts of a few, a shadow of curiosity, no, dread, began to stir. When the void trembled, the void itself shuddered on the 9th rotation of the Valen sector. At first, the scanners reported nothing unusual, fluctuations,